Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshunmilitam Jene Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Bhastai Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavati Paskacha Desatarine Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I offer my most humble obeisances to my spiritual teachers, for and foremost to Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Don't worry, it's just water. Right? Good. Here's the water, Prabhu. Here's more water. I just didn't see. Oh, don't worry. I didn't see it there. But it's okay. So first and foremost to my spiritual master, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Spiritual master is the sum and substance of life, very highly appreciated in Indian culture, very misunderstood in Western culture. You could see the position of spiritual master according to Bhagavad Gita. It is so extraordinary, beautiful. And just surcharges your life with the deepest of meaning and connection. And also calls upon you very straight and directly, calls upon you to become a spiritual master. What does it mean to become a spiritual master? Just this morning I had a long discussion about socialism with a high member of the government of Venezuela. And we definitely came to the conclusion. Socialism means anything which is truly just to all. Only that could claim the title socialism, if it is so meant to be. Unfortunately, socialism, communism was born in the European minds, and there aren't Brahmins. So they had a few conceptions like economical equilibrium, and so an organization of the production in harmony with the needs of the working class and things like that. They didn't really have an idea of real social justice. How could they? They just came out of the European nightmare of the darkest of the times the planet ever has seen. They came out of the tamaguna, means the modes of darkness, mood, where all you do is kill others to get your way. Anyhow, the European brain supposedly was trying to find out things, social welfare, socialism. You know, in Sweden, you also used it in the government a long time. I don't know who's running right now. Socialists? No. Huh? Anyhow, we agreed. Socialism means social justice for all, or forget about it. So in the same way, you could also apply the spiritual teacher, the guru. He stands for true socialism. He stands for true justice. He stands for true compassion. He stands for true gratefulness. There is something, we could call it an underlying principle in life. And this underlying principle, it belongs to all of us because we all belong to it. We all belong to the underlying principle of life because we are alive. We all belong to the underlying principles of atoms because our body is made of atoms. The world is made of atoms. So the Brahmins, they used to call that Brahmin. Naturally, no? What else could they call it? And why are they supposed to be Brahmins? Because they could understand that everything is Brahman. Everything is part of the universally conceived, all-encompassing, great, divine energy, which is life itself and its origin. So, what you call that? The truth you can call only truth. It doesn't matter what language you use. If you call the truth a lie, it's meaningless. And if you call a lie a truth, it's also meaningless. The only applicable terminology for truth is truth. And the only applicable terminology for teacher is one who teaches the truth. So if we are talking about teachers and truth, we are actually talking about the universal principle. And you are supposed to shape up and harmonize with that universal principle. That is what education is all about. That's why you need a guru. That's why gurus are meant to be everywhere. That's why gurus are the welfare of the people and the most desirable to come about. And that's why I'm sitting here and offering my obeisances to my guru. Because without my guru, I would not even have any meaning or sense to talk to you. If I would just be dabbling upon my own mental acquisitions, like we can even call it worse than that, mental vomit. If people just vomit on each other, I think the truth is this, I think the truth is that, and all they speculate about life and the meaning of life, then it is deplorable. That's why the Vedas have says, Anya second verse of Srimad Bhagavatam says, it starts with that the Brahmins reject every type of untruth. Anything which is not connected to the truth, as a matter of fact, on principle, they're rejected. They can deal with it, they can defeat it, but they reject it. They reject the lies, they reject the untruths. Why? Because they want the truth. We all want the truth, we all need the truth. And then we have all these secularists who vomit into the world that there is no truth. Is there somebody out there? Was the title of one of the biggest journals in Germany for the last week. Is there somebody out there in the sky, in the space? Is there any truth to be held, to be obtained? Well, I can tell you something which is out there. It's that answer which we all get when we deeply go into our own heart. Let's try it. Close your eyes. Now ask yourself, deep inside, don't think about the educators, don't think about what people told you or what people practice or don't practice. Just in your own heart, ask yourself, is love wonderful? Would you like to love everybody? And would you like to be loved? 3 simple questions. If the answer to that is yes, then you can open your eyes again. So I see everybody's looking at me. So that was a little trick. No, no, it wasn't. It just means there is something which we all long for. We feel it, we sense it, we want it. We are supposed to represent it. And that is divine. You can call that God already. That there's something which manifests within each and every one of us, which is pushing us forward, pushing us to the light. Gu is darkness, and Ru is pull you out from the darkness. Chattamoya. Take me out from the darkness, take me to the light. Take me out from the ignorance, put me to the sight of the safe knowledge of the divine. Take me out from the mortal existence to the eternal existence. With you. Amritam. Take me out from the death and put me in the world of Amritam. This is the prayer to the spiritual master. Don't let me be lost in this world. Oh Krishna, you are so kind. You're giving us so many hints in our own inner development that we all want you. We all want you, your divine presence. And we want to be aware of your divine presence. Because whether you're aware of it or not, the divine presence is always there. The divine presence is very noticeable. If you want to make if you have any doubt about the divine presence, I can give you another proof. You can again close your eyes, and this time you take your right hand and you cover your mouth and your nostrils like this. See how long you can do that. When you can't do it anymore, then you are longing for the divine presence. And that's the divine presence of Prananath, the Lord of Air. Oh, yes, I'm happy you're with me, my Lord. No life without you. no, without breathing, without oxygen. And that's called, he's the Lord of life air, the Prananat. So, we can feel your divine presence again and again and again. Because in your divine presence, you're giving us a chance to acquire the company which is our heart is longing for so dearly. The Vedas, they're unconditional books of divine knowledge. When I say unconditional, you know what that means? They say from the very beginning that every truth is Veda. So you're not having one book and say, this is Veda and nothing else. That's not what the Veda says. The Veda says whatever is truth is Veda. That's why there are so many commentators. As a matter of fact, listen to this one, it's a very interesting one. The etymologists, the European language studier, they wanted to define the age of the Vedas by their study of etymology. In other words, by if they could say that the rishi or the speaker used a certain word which only appeared in a certain time of period in other works and in other things, then they would derive from that, because this word is being used here, this means this book is 800 years old or 1,500 years old, or like that, no? They didn't know that the Vedas are the books of liberty. If I speak today and I say, start speaking about the internet and things like that, then somebody say, oh, this was 2014, this guy spoke. It means the Vedas of this, like they would limit their view in this way. But it's not at all true. So the Vedas, they always allow adjustment to time, place, and circumstance. They give every speaker the freedom to explain things timely. It's necessary. If I speak in like I have some books in my personal collection, they are written in Orion. But this Orion, which they're written in, it's such an old Orion. If I show this to an Orion speaker today, they can't read it. They can't read their own language in their own old style writing, and I guess some meaning also. They just get something like fractions. Languages do have some modifications over time. Vocabulary changes. But the Vedas do not change. The truth doesn't change. Even water doesn't change. Even the water is a divine thing. Nobody could figure out where the water came from. The water molecules. Have you ever thought about that? Where did the water come from? Is it a chemical product of ingredients available here in this earth? No. There was no oxygen. There was a fireball only. Supposed to be, no? By modern thinking. So there was a fireball. Okay, the fireball gets pretty hot, right? It's very hot, no? So why in the world water gets there? And water, what you speak of water now, here this water phenomena is much more than just a little phenomena. We're talking about a phenomena that fills oceans and oceans and oceans and trillions of Olympic-sized swimming pools, you know. I mean, Really, really, really. And then, not only that, the water also fills all the living bodies. Every living species which runs around here has water all over his body, sometimes as much as 90%. That's pretty far out, Mrs. and Mr. Water. So where did your water come from? Have any idea? What the science says about water? What do they say? How did we get water in this world? They're so great in challenging belief. They cannot even explain where the water came from. It's just amazing. And water is divine. Water, just like I showed you how the breathing, how the life air is also divine. So the water is such a simple combination, but in the simplest of its form, it has the most unique life-sustaining secrets in it. For example, water is the only substance which, as it gets colder, first it densifies and then it starts expanding. So much that water, have you ever carried a big chunk of ice? It's heavy, no? But when you put it in the water, it swims. Try the same thing with a big rock. It just goes on bloop down. How in the world a big heavy ice rock swims? What's the secret of that one? It expands, becomes lighter than the water itself, which is the only substance of this world which does that. And if water would not float in the ice form, then there would be no life under the ocean and there would be no life anywhere. It's sustained. So water comes in three different forms simultaneously. In the liquid, in the gas, and in the solid form. Simultaneously. So, what does our science say about where the water came from? I mean, when they look at other planets, they always have the question, is there any water? And they can't find any water anywhere. So where the water is coming from, my dear? Now they have one theory, that when the meteorites go through the strategic atmosphere at high speed, there's some ice crystals forming on it. So they thought, wow, that's how the water got in here. The meteorites, they brought in the liquid here, the secret of life. But absolutely not the slightest gist of an idea. You know how many people, scientists, are getting big salaries for speculating on creation and everything, you know. They don't know where the water came from. No idea. Isn't it? Have you a gist? Has anybody talked to you in school about water, where it came from? They're talking about all kinds of things. That's why the Vedas say this is mental vomit. When they just speculate about the origin of life and they have no gist of it. The magic of this creation. Look at the magic of the creation of what the Hubble telescope is sending into us. Now finally they said, yes, we have just one small universe amongst many, 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 many universes. So we just, according to science, we just expanded the space chapter to another infinite dimension. Before it was the infinite dimension of one universe, now it's the infinite dimension of infinite amount of universe. Adjust to it, my friend, just adjust to it. It's just a little bit space adjustment here. But where are you in all this? You're still my small little brother and sister. And the Brahmins, they've always maintained in the most auspicious of all situations. And you know what that is? To be humble. If you're not humble, then better don't talk at all. So what is the humble position? Trina tapi sunichena tarorapi sahishnuna amanina manadina kirtaniyat sadahari. So dharma prochita kaita vatra means I reject all untruths and I remain myself very humble in front of the truth. What is the truth? Well, the truth is the truth. Who speaks the truth, who serves the truth is truth, and that is truth. And you should be with the truth. And it's not word jugglery, it's the real meaning of life's acquisition and its highest mental capacity. Trinata pi sunichina. What does it say? Consider yourself more insignificant than a straw in a street. What is so good about a straw in a street? A straw in a street never gives opposition to anybody. But we are always giving opposition. We don't want to submit to anything and everything. We are very defiant cases. It's pretty funny so, but still we are defiant cases. When we are told that something's good for us and something's bad for us, usually immediately we want to argue. So the Brahmins, they don't argue. They want to listen to the teachers of the truth. And that is what makes their life very satisfying. More tolerant than a tree. That's another acquisition. To consider yourself more insignificant than a straw in the street, to be more tolerant than the tree. You can see how the Europeans like that. That's really the philosophy they were looking for. You think so? And then comes the number 3 and 4, which is even worse. Give your respect to everyone. And don't ask for any respect for yourself. In this humble state of mind, you can think of God constantly. In this humble state of mind, you can meditate. In this humble state of mind, you can rejoice. In this humble state of mind, you can understand what is love. Love, so a different additional subject here I'm introducing, prem, love. That is the science of applied and appropriately managed freedom with a good dose of spirituality. Otherwise, no question of love. A materialist, so to speak, he don't know how to love. As the materialists prove very quickly that they're not very capable of loving because they are always on each other's case, even to the degree of killing each other. And materialists haven't made the place very pleasant. And please watch it carefully. Spirituality combined with injustice can never be spirituality. That is a hoax. But our young people today, don't want to speak about the young people, even the elder people, they all think that the reason why God is not very interesting or not very substantial is by what people have done in the name of God, which is absolutely unholy. What has been done in the name of God is probably more unholy than what people have done without the name of God. So then, of course, you say, oh my God, what to do with these unholy people in the name of God? So this is the number one, first and foremost, this discrimination. We have to understand that whoever does something unjust in the name of God, that is not what spirituality was all about. Talking about natural spirituality, the spirituality which is in everyone's heart, where everybody feels that he wants to love and he wants to be loved, and don't do to others what you don't want them to do to you, or do to others what you want them to do to you. Be straight, be part of the solution. So many things we have heard over the life, over lives. So that's what the Guru stands for. He's teaching that and nothing else. Any Guru is teaching anything else, forget about it. Don't bother with it. He's teaching a hoax. You have to figure it out yourself. If a Guru says he has a secret for sexual pleasures, he's a hoax. If a Guru tells you, or he's going to teach you how to fly, that's another hoax. If a Guru tells you he's going to show you how to control the mind of others, he's another hoax. There's so much hoax going on in the world in the name of yoga and religion and everything. Srila Prabhupada made a joke about India. He said, India is the country which exports a new avatar of God every week. They always have another hoax here. Some of them say, don't say anything. Prabhupada said, yeah, if the hoax comes by not speaking, then nobody can detect it. But if somebody speaks, you can say, is that what the Vedas say? Is that the truth? Can we all understand it? Can we all accept this as a universal truth? Now if somebody tells me that you got to become a guru, I go, wait a second, I mean, look at me. I was born in Germany, just after the Second World War. By some good fortune, I met my spiritual master. He left me after 6 years with me. And there I was in South America, a young guy. And there I had to decide, will I continue what he taught to me, or I'll go back to Germany or back to India and just cry. Guru is gone, finished, everything's over. So I had to decide that at that point, am I ready to continue what he started? Me? Of all people, me? Why me? Well, because you met him and he told you you should spread what he told you, and you loved what he told you. So in a sense, what I'm talking is a very practical thing, I'm talking about me and I'm talking about you. I come here once a year. What can you do when you come somewhere once a year? Well, you can push everybody a little bit. Hey, come on, get something going, do something with your life. I can challenge you. I can encourage you. I can show you some of my love. That's okay. But whatever good is there, it has to be in you, and it is in you. So I'm very positive. And I know what we are talking about is absolutely available, because it's the light within you. It's the light and the love within you which I came for. I'm a mendicant, I'm a beggar of love. I'm not bringing you love, I'm begging for your love. Not so much for me. I mean, it's not that I don't want you have your love, no, don't get me wrong, no. But I'm begging for your love for others. And if I'm begging for your love for others, I'm begging for you to become spiritual teachers in whatever realm you are. It means you have to be a spiritual teacher of your children, you have to be a spiritual teacher, have a representative of the truths of your students, you have to be a representative of the truths in the different environments which you are partaking as life has put you there. Like I see you're pretty international gathering here, but how in the hell, what God made arrangement that you came to Sweden, so what you have to do here in Sweden? Are you here just to admire the Swedish landscape and the short short nights in the summer and the never-ending nights in the winter, and just becoming a Swedish philosopher, or what are you meant to be here? Or are you supposed to bring in the light of the East, which Hölderlin says it's the real light of humanity. This is the Dharma. That's what the great thinkers of the Europe, when they first came in contact with the Vedas, they could understand, wow, here's light, come on, come on. Goethe got it, Hölderlin got it, Rückert got it, Schiller got it. Anybody who came in contact with this, Danilou got it. They all got it, and they said, even Max Müller got it. Max Müller was paid by the British people to make Indians look ridiculous and to have the whole Vedas discredited. That was his job. That's what he was paid for. And even he said, I'm very sorry, this is the biggest and highest thing which is there. But he did make different attempts to make India look ridiculous. So then when I go to India today and I hear things like Max Müller Bhavan, I say, come on, you guys, you haven't gotten it, you know. Max Müller Sarani. You don't realize the guy came here just to shit on our valuablest transcendental culture, and you honor him, no? That's what humility goes to the extreme in India. Sometimes a little bit overdosed, you know. Huh? Should hang the guy from a public place to everybody see. I give you one example of Max Müller's great contribution. There's something in Hindi. It's called Krit Kumari. Krit Kumari. Kumari means a small girl, and Krit Kumari in the Ayurveda scripture says you should take the Krit Kumari and you should cut it in the middle. Then you take out the flesh, and with that flesh, then you can make your potions. So Max Müller says, look at these savages. They took little girls and cut them open and used them for making potions. Have you heard that? No? Well, it's there in the records. That's what Max Müller did, and his whole department of discrediting. Now, what is the Kumari we are talking about? Anybody knows? What's the Krit Kumari? You don't know? Hindi, Krit Kumari? Who speaks? It's the aloe vera plant. The aloe vera plant is so beautiful, it is so powerful that it is called Kumari. You know, it's that plant which grows even without touching earth. It can hang somewhere and just keeps, and it has the most amazing, that's called Krit Kumari in Hindi. And it's used in Ayurveda all the time. So the Krit Kumari was kind of Max Müller he spread out to the world that old sages in India would cut a little girl to make potions. Then what do people think around the world? They say, oh, these savages from India, good luck we brought Jesus there. Huh? Huh? Now they have some culture that can learn how to love and respect. It's really, you see, it's a propaganda machine, And the British are good in the propaganda machine, and Max Müller was an employee of the British for that purpose. And so many others. Macmillan was the one who said, we want Indians in skin like Indians and inside like Britishers. That's what we want. That's the purpose of the British education system in India. Teaching the world. Have to see that documentary, Schooling the World, by Carol Black. Unless you have seen that, you don't know what this education is all about. And you don't know what is this substantial cheating, which is being conceived by our schools and universities until today. I claim it and I denounce it, that this entire educational system is Avedic, which is atatvik. It is a system to teach lies and confusions. And for that purpose, they have sustained themselves in a very sophisticated system where money, powers, and weapons are above truth. Not truth is above anything. In other words, we're in the Tamaguna reign. 100%. And before it was Christian fundamentalism they were teaching, which was hoax. Now they are teaching secularistic fundamentalism, which is even worse. Because in a Christian fundamentalism, at least they would still say once in a while, God is great. Now they will only say, we are great. Because we invented the fundamentalism of secularism. So we are so great. What makes us great? That we were able, or we were bold enough to reject the values of our forefathers, the traditions, the greatness of the ancient people of this earth. Who are they? Who are the ancient people of this earth? Well, the first and foremost thing about it, we don't really know much about them. That's a very funny thing to begin with. Our history writing doesn't go back further than 3,000 years. We don't know, but I know. Why and how? Because I've associated plenty, not enough, but plenty, with original cultures in South America. In India they're called Adivasis. And I've heard their understanding of life. I've heard what they believe and what they practice. And I could see the Vedas reflected in them again and again and again. Even some customs, they're so similar that you could almost say it's impossible they didn't get it from each other. I mean, this is a long separate subject. It's something to academically investigate, which of course nobody wants to investigate because the so-called academics are those who don't want to know the truth. If they wanted to know the truth, they would study it. They would put it in a university. They would put it in the foreign foremost courses. So the natives who I came across with who have not been exposed to European thinking over the last 10,000 years. But they're just coming out and speaking on themselves, by themselves, what they feel, what's going on. You get very, very spiritual messages. You have to understand that every single previous culture of some kind or another were very spiritual people on this planet. So we are now the modern folks, and we managed to kick out the spirituality from our conception. There was a discussion I had this morning, saying we need a spiritual socialism. If socialism is of the European ways, where there's no conception of the spirituality, and you just want to create social justice in this way, you're going to get another China. Or whatever is there. It's hard to generalize anything, but you get another place where people are just living for eating. They live to eat, and they're not eating to live. Why you study? What's the meaning of study? Just so that you get a little money from the government so you can pay your rent and buy your food? That's why you study? Many people study in Europe these days just by that, because the government has some social funds. Then you get you overcome your college years by getting some support, but you don't really care for what you're studying. Are you living to study, or are you studying to live? Think about it carefully. If you study to live, then you're studying to live eternally. That means you must have spiritual studies. I was telling this gentleman in the morning, he said, how did you start with this? I said, very simple. I was a searcher for justice in an unjust world. So I had to go to a higher platform. I had to find out who's speaking about justice beyond this world. Very simple. It's not much to me. Simply that I was searching for justice. I was crying. I was 15, 16 years old, and I was crying by the ideas that while I'm alive, Americans are dropping napalm on Vietnamese villages, burning children and women. I was crying. I say, I cannot tolerate this. I don't want to be part of this. So I was looking for justice, but I saw that there was no justice. There was no justice in the political systems. It was just like, and there was not, nor there is. So I said, I have to find another world. I have to find something where justice is available. So if you study to live, then you better study to live about eternal life, because if you study just the life of which is dwindling, you study your dwindling body's history, you can tell the photo story of life. Let's say you take a photo every 10 days of your face. And then when you're reaching around 60, you go through the line. And you say, that was the study of a dwindling life. But is that what you were really wanting to know? You don't have to take all these pictures. Just look at your grandma. And you immediately see what you're going to look like. That's all to it. And if you want to get it more extreme, then go to the morgue and look what they look there, what they look like when they're just about to be dug under the ground or burned in India. That's the story to it. The story of matter. Like somebody on the internet made the story of stuff. Maybe you saw that, a very, very good thing to look at. About consumer society. So we should make another one like this. The story of matter. What's the story of matter? But you're not matter, you're not this body. I am not this body. I am spirit, soul. The body is just a lump of matter destined to grow old. I could not be simply matter destined to decay. So, I am something very high and elevated. It is called pure conscience. I am very, very fortunate. I am really something very elevated called pure conscience. But I have forgot about it, and I've ignored all the wisdom and beauty of it, and I've just gone into ignorance. That's the story of our time, my friend. That's the story of our television story. All these wonderful fashion shows of pretty, you've never seen a fashion show of 70-year-olds, huh? No, it's always fresh and beautiful. Guys showing their shoulders and their hips and their legs and the dress. And people think, oh, this is so beautiful. What about the reality show? Are you ready for the reality show? San Quentin, death row. You know what death row means? The people are waiting for execution. They have been condemned by the government for their crime. Now they're in San Quentin, death row. And they're still, can you imagine? They're still discussing all the time how to kill people. They still can't work it out. They're injecting some lethal poisons. They put them in the electric chair. Then the chair doesn't work. And they're having so many scandals there in the execution department, They didn't want to follow the French system of the guillotine. Horrible, no? But what's going on? That's reality show. You just want to live in a grand illusion, or you want to see reality of what's going on around you? So, real study must be about divine reality, otherwise it's another hoax. And that's what Tattva is all about. Om Tat Sat, Sat Chit Ananda. What the Vedas announce about education. Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram. Come on, study is not to study death rows and not to study the fact that we all die. That we knew from the very beginning if you read the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says, whoever is dying, he will be born again. Whoever is born again will die again. So let's focus on some other issue. So what do you want to focus on? Bahunimi vyatitani janmani tavacharjuna. I know all this from all the lives behind, but you don't. You forgot it. Oh, I'm so foolish, I forgot it? Yeah, you forgot it. You have to work it out now. What does it mean? You will know about the truth as you surrender to it, as you will be rewarded according how you take it serious. So this is the duty of the teacher. He elevates you. He removes you from the darkness concept. He says, think about it and act upon it. And teach it to others. It's not a passive thing. It's not an indifference thing. It's not that I come here and just say, hi, so nice, okay, I hope you liked what I say, bye-bye. No, if you want me to be part of your life, then I have to be able to know how you're growing, how you're advancing. Are you giving this to others or not? Are you living up to the mark or not? Let's bless each other with the great spiritual masters' disciplines. They give us so high disciplines. You know, we all like the word disciple, but we don't like the word discipline. Huh? Funny. But the word disciple comes from discipline. Without discipline, there ain't no disciple. And you can also sadhana. Sadhana is a very sacred word, sadhana. Of sat, sadhana. Those who follow the principles of truthfulness in their life. Sadhu Sangha sa. That's how it all starts. Saregama Padanisa. It's all to the light, it's all to the truth, it's all to the commitment. Satguru, Sadhu Sangha, Shanto. The truth is Akshara. It's coming from the Akara. It's all, the divine presence is there in the Vedic teachings, everywhere you look. And my spiritual master, he was so eager. He was so eager that we will live up to the standards. My spiritual master, he wanted us all to become spiritual masters, and so did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I wasn't ready to become a spiritual master at all. But I could not tell my guru that I will not try. I could not tell him, now your mission is finished, because your student, myself, is such a fool. He didn't live up to your standards. He is not capable of doing. And then I heard the sound of my guru behind me say, I told you years ago, all you have to do is repeat it and don't change it. Yes. Have you heard it? Yeah, I heard it. Have you read it? Yes, I read it. You have the books? Yeah, I have the books. So how to do? Well, just give to others what you got. Don't make a big story of it. If you haven't realized much, well, maybe others may realize, or maybe you realize. Also, those who really realized, they think they don't realize, so another story. But be there where you have to be. We have this famous book, Be Here Now. So be here now, be with you. Be with your realization where you are and do what you have to do. We need you, we need you. Just like we started something recently in South America called the University of Ancient Wisdom. It's a very lovely work. Because ancient wisdom is whatever helps our world to answer to the challenges of today and tomorrow. We don't have to answer to the challenges of yesterday because they're gone by days. But we do have to answer to the challenges of today and tomorrow. So in a way, by some very visionary conception, we are always today. The tomorrow just means today, tomorrow. But still, we are always looking a little bit forward to tomorrow. And that looking forward to tomorrow means looking towards education as a means that we can answer to the need of our soul in the soul's journey towards perfection. So personally, I'm very happy to be here in Sweden again. has been a long journey. Actually, in a journey which is also happens to be the 30 years of our mission as a spiritual family. I'm happy and I'm embarrassed at the same time to say that our spiritual family is going into the 30th years, and we still have not done much more for education and spiritual upliftment than what you can notice. But we should not give up, because everything takes time. Even Prabhupada's mission took time. There was a lifetime of preparation before Prabhupada actually went to the West and distributed Krishna consciousness. So we are also part, our life is part of this lifetime of preparation of Krishna consciousness going around the world, and the Vedas and the Bhagavad Gita and the duties. So I'm always also having a high expectation on the performance of others, because this is just the need of the day. Just like when you go to a dentist, you don't want him to do half of a job, right? If you go to a dentist, you want him to do the complete job to the top quality possible, no? That's your teeth, you care for them. No? You care what they look like, and you also care what they feel like. But you care more what they feel like than what they look like. Because if they're feeling too terrible, people pull them out. I just had a big tooth torn out a few weeks ago, so I'm acquainted with the thought. So we don't want anybody to be a mediocre guy. We want everybody to give the best thing he can give. What to speak of the guru. But there's one thing about the whole thing which we don't know. And that we are all in God's control. And our consciousness is in God's control. And especially when I sit down here and talk, I'm talking you on behalf of my teacher. So what I'm talking about, what I'm transmitting to you, this is supposed to be the message of God. It's not mine, because really, I wouldn't dare even to think what message I have to say for you. Still, I fulfill my duty to speak Harikatha. Harikatha is very, very auspicious. So I offer my obeisance to my Guru. I open my mouth. I speak to you. I watch you, how you react. Are you falling asleep? Are you interested? Are you getting something from it? And of course, then comes the final part is your questions. Now I challenged you so much, now you can challenge me. You can squeeze something out of this guy. Is there anything more he has to give? Is there something we should verify, or where do we want to go deeper into it? Because last not least, it's divine Harikatha. It is a continuous transaction. It's not once a week, no. Nashtaprayeshu abadishu nityam bhagavata sevaya. It is a permanently manifested exchange with the divine, where you listen and then you speak. And when you speak, people will listen to what you say, and if you do anything wrong or say anything wrong, they will say, sorry, stop speculating. We cannot approve of what you just said. But if the Brahmins, they talk amongst each other, if they have any discrepancy, they have to go back to the Vedas. That's why we say, it says in the Vedas. Okay, what does it say? Please quote the quotation, and then the debates can start. Of Because nowadays people don't discuss philosophy, they're not used to it. They are discussing about Christian Dior handbags. And horses, race horses. And which party won the election. Oh, and then they start talking about football. Oh. Very entertaining, huh? Any questions? Please challenge me. Or ask anything you want. Of course.
You just mentioned that Prabhupada himself said that India probably is exporting a whole lot of spiritual teachers.
No, fake avatars. No spiritual teachers. They also export real spiritual teachers.
Right.
That's also there.
So, fake avatars first. So how do we identify the real true one that is actually meant to use? Because when it comes to speaking, a lot of people in India speak really well. They say all the things, there's a lot of quotation from the Vedas, there's quotation from Brahma Samhita, and it appears very impressive. But where is the connection? How do we get the connection to the soul of the Buddha?
Well, if somebody tells you that you have to be a guru, and he shows you how to be a guru, he most likely is a guru. You know, you have to go by the quenching. If you need water, if you're thirsty, you cannot settle your issue until your thirst is quenched. So you apply that principle. And Mahari Prabhu. And also you have to quench the thirst of others. It goes both ways. It's an amazing thing, the interaction. The interactions in this world, they are amazing. And those who are just commercializing all the Vedic things and the eagerness of people for yoga and meditation. Who just want to make a business out of that. Well, usually they're just making a show of the whole thing. And it's pretty noticeable. But also it's something everybody, you see, it's actually a more complex question and a more complex answer. Because of the so many teachers, I will give you a story. The Vedas say, get mystic powers. This is how you do it, ... Then it says, only fools will go for mystic powers. Then the Vedas say, go to the heavenly planets and enjoy with the Devas. Then another chapter says, only fools would go to the Devas and worship them. Then the Vedas say, you should go and become one with the impersonal Brahman. Then in another place it says that the bliss of Brahman is like the water contained in the footprint of a calf compared to the bliss of loving God. In other words, it says the ecstasy of Amritam in Brahman is considered as hell by the those who have a loving relationship with the Lord. They don't want that. Then the Vedas say, you should worship the Lord with awe and reverence, awe and reverence, Aishwarya. Then somewhere else says, the Lord is not attracted to those worshipping with awe and reverence. So the Vedas, they do that again and again with you. They tell you one thing, and then they say, no, it's not it. So in a way, they're testing us. So many of the yogis and those who come and teach something, they're also indirectly testing us. God is testing us. Do we want the real thing, or we just want Vikram yoga, hot yoga? They pump the studio up to 45 degrees and sweat you off and say, oh, now I really did yoga. So one has to decide it. And Mr. Vikram, he wanted to make copyright on all the asanas also. He says, now it belongs to me. So there's symptoms, you have to go by the symptoms. But you see, the Vedas, they also give these kind of things to see, what do you want? Do you want to worship Krishna in the universal form? The Virata Rupa? Or you want to worship Krishna as a little baby in Mother Yashoda's lap? Is he the same? Is he the same Lord? Which appears in a little baby on his mother's lap. Mother Yashoda doesn't think so. But when she asked him, did you eat mud? He said, you can look in my mouth if you like. And she goes, yeah, okay, open your mouth. And then she looks in the mouth and she goes, she sees all the universes in the mouth of Krishna floating around. And she sees herself looking into his mouth inside of his mouth. Like, oh. And Krishna closed his mouth and said, you see, I didn't eat earth. Huh? So what kind of a Krishna you want to worship? How you want him? You want him to be the Yadunath, the Lord of the Yadus, or the Gopinath, the Lord of the Gopis. He has many features. One very wonderful sage who lived in Sweden a long time ago, named Walter Eidlitz or Vamana Das. He said, when I studied the Vedas, I only found contradictions. But when I studied it from the Vaishnavas again, all the contradictions disappeared and everything fell into its place. Like a big puzzle. A big puzzle with so many pieces and you don't know where do they match. But then, in the Vaishnava philosophy, everything matched. Ah, this is the Vedas. This is what it is all about. Thank you. Next question. Yes, go ahead.
Prabhupada is no more. Can he still influence our spiritual progress? And if that is so, could it be directly or would it be through a life guru? How does that work?
Well, the Guru Parampara is a tradition which is initiation school, which is called Sampradaya. And this must go on. But there's many things more to say to it. To not be superficial and not to be just focused on certain formalities. In the spiritual teacher line, there's two types of acharyas, predecessor. One is called the Pancharatrik Guru and one is called the Bhagavata Guru. The Pancharatrik Guru, he teaches everything as the lineage does, but he does it from a position of practitioner himself. And the Bhagavata Parampara Guru is the one who's bringing the self-realized inner content to its fullest degree, and he's teaching that so others may become Pancharatrik Gurus and teach it to others. A Pancharatrik Guru at some point may turn into a Bhagavad Parampara Guru. That is not denied, that possibility, but you would say that our eagerness for the company and the guidance of Prabhupada is topmost, even though he has already gone back to Krishna. His invitation to go to Krishna as well is still valid. And just because he's not there with us, if we follow his call, he will also protect us. But we will also have the protection of the Pancharatrik Guru, and we will take initiation from a Pancharatrik Guru if the Bhagavata Parampara Guru is not alive anymore. So this is how the tradition works. And if it would not be so, you see, it's also, a guru is not only somebody where sound goes through him to others, spreading around in divine sound. It's also going where our service goes up. In other words, under the guidance of the Guru, we are making our temple, we make our satsang hall, we make our prasadam distribution. Whatever we do in divine service, it will always be sanctioned and protected by the Guru. Otherwise, it will be a mess. Sometimes it's even a mess with the Guru, because some selfish interest may come up or something like this. But it's not supposed to. That's the job of the Guru, to make sure that the service department is well aligned and well organized and without any personal interests. Go ahead. Go ahead, you have most about more questions. You have more questions? Yeah? Anybody? There's a question.
Yeah, Bharadas, you were just mentioning that to practice your life spiritually, perfectly, in a very serious way, you need to be humble, you need to give love to people. But in this material life where there's a lot of cutthroat competition, people trying to stab you, how can you be humble, tolerant, good, and give love?
In the world of love and service for God, you will not be stabbed in your back. That is only the history of the world, which is not desirable. So we should move into the world of the divine association, the devotee association. And there we will learn how to dovetail our otherwise activities so that they will also harmonize in this direction. Because we cannot do without it. We cannot do without true love. So we have to find real true love. I can only say from my personal experience that in my mission as a speaker of Harikatha, as a traveling mendicant of love, I've come upon so much love and so much beautiful people trying to serve God without stepping each other in the back, that I can only say.
But sorry to mention that Srila Prabhupada himself gave such beautiful love to people. He was stabbed by his own people who supposedly gave poison to him.
This is
Theory.
that.
That's a conspiracy theory.
When you hear the tape version where somebody is saying,
No,
it's not true.
I do not agree at all. I do not agree at all.
Because when I hear
No, I was not there. I was in Brazil in those days, but I knew Srila Prabhupada very well. And sometimes he may have said, or somebody comes and brings him pills, medicine, and he said, "Oh, you're trying to kill me with all that, or what?" I mean, like in common day speaking, the people who surrounded Prabhupada, they loved him very much. Nobody would ever think of poisoning him. I think this is.
the doctor who was treating Prabhupada in his last day said that he cannot be treated because his blood is contaminated with poison, and there's a doctor talking in Hindi, so I was just
No, I don't think so at all. I don't think so at all. Of course, if you want to know more, you have to talk to the people who were actually involved in that day. I did talk to them. I didn't find the slightest suspicion. You see, some people, they make this kind of accusations and try to gather some evidence. Prabhupada was surrounded until the last moment by people who loved him, served him, sang with him, fed him.
You said if you have Krishna's support, you can't get backstabbed by anybody.
That's the Prahlad Maharaj conclusion. You see, it's interesting that you mentioned that, because when I first heard about the poisoning conspiracy theory, when I first heard about it, immediately Prahlad Maharaj came to my mind. And his father actually mixed the poison personally, and it's right in the scriptures that he did it. And he personally fed it to Prahlad. And Prahlad offered the food to Krishna, and no poison could touch him. So his father got mad. Why can I not kill you? What's happening here? So this is exactly what came to my mind. Nobody could have poisoned my spiritual master, even if they wanted to. But I do not believe that anybody wanted to or did that. There's really something, some strong interpretation of some whispering voices and things like that.
I'm not referring to Prabhupada's case. I'm referring to him. My dad, myself, he's been praying for 16 years, but he's gotten backstabbed by people he loves more.
He's your dad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately.
Because he doesn't chant even one word of Krishna consciousness. So I'm unfortunate. I could not change her consciousness to chant.
I'm dumbfolded. I see such a wonderful father and such a wonderful daughter. I cannot believe it that what you're saying is just. You see, the love for Krishna is something which is actually manifesting in family. And only by God's grace can we have a child and a parent who are loving God and trying to love God. So now about your backstabbing experience. I don't know who stepped your back. I must say in my own life, sometimes I was put in awkward situations but they were always ending up to give me some favor me, to put me into a better position when a difficult situation came in my life. And we have a saying in South America which says, there's nothing bad which doesn't come for a good reason. So maybe we can discover that higher meaning, why we are feeling uncomfortable at some level, at somewhere. But devotees have not stepped you. So
maybe I've got, as she says,
that means your karma was with you. Yes, the karma is there with everybody. Oh, Krishna, now it's getting really hot today, really interesting, you know. And that's what question and answers are really meant to be, to go beyond just some formality and intellectual curiosity, but to actually go to where it touches us, where we actually become concerned. Right, Gopinath? There's yours.
Maharaj, I have a question.
Yes.
Is it true that if you do not follow the instructions of a spiritual master, once you're, accepted a particular spiritual master or a guru, then anything that you do out of the accepted mode, actually the negatives of it has to be borne by the guru? It actually affects the guru. Is that true?
Oh my God. You having a lot of good questions here today. By the way, I have a question. Are you her mother?
Yes.
To make the picture complete. I could tell anyway without asking, but I just wanted to make sure. She does.
Which person saying this?
No, 100%.
No, people say she looks like my sister, and I look like her mother, apparently.
Okay, let's get to the question. Yes, you are absolutely right. When you love somebody, and that somebody is not doing well, your heart crumbles. So when a guru accepts a disciple, and disciple doesn't follow, and he doesn't do things which are healthy for him, then the disciple gives a lot of pain to the guru. And it's not that he has to pay the karma. I mean, God knows who pays whose karma. He's the karma gya. He knows everything about karma. And so, but it's enough, the suffering which comes to the guru when he sees his disciple is not going in the right direction. That pains his heart so much. So let's leave it at that point, because that is beyond the question. So if Prabhupada's disciples are not going in the right direction, Prabhupada's definitely uneasy about it. And he may even decide to come back for them. Or he may ask Krishna, can you send somebody else for these idiots, They're not following what I'm saying. And I don't want to go there again, but you can send somebody else, But that's between Krishna and Prabhupada, and nobody else will know. Yes, my dear.
Once, it was about 30 years ago, I was executing the will of God, sincerely did so, and I was severely stabbed in my back. I was given 4 years. Do you have some explanation to that?
You were stabbed in the back while you were trying to serve God sincerely.
Yes.
Well, I must say one thing. I cannot make a commentary on it because I don't know the exact nitty-gritty details, both in reality of manifesting as well as in the coming up to that situation. What's the history of you in this part, in this specific regard? I just can judge it, I can just comment to it from the very face, my inner face, and even a little bit more than that, from knowing you to how much I do know you. And I think that some or other your mystical path has been and is still protected. And to have a mystical path which is protected is worth 1 billion times more than any little suffering we may have had experienced along the way. Maybe those bitter experiences which you are referring to, which I don't know exactly what they were, maybe they were just meant to happen for you to learn something. Try to reflect upon it that way.
I have tried to do so, but that experience caused me so much confusion that I'm still confused about it today. About what is right and wrong and the right path and so on and so on. So I will study some of the scriptures.
Then I would say such a situation requires an actual deep personal counseling. Then I would say such a situation would require a deep and personal counseling.
So I did, of course, but I couldn't find a way out of this.
You could counsel with me.
Yes, later.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. This is a personal, it's too personal for an audience.
I know. So, back later.
I like the conversation today. Today we are getting to the real points where we get stuck, where we have to get help to go further. That's what real conversations are all about. Yes, please.
Sometimes you are able to chant attentively. Is it okay? I mean, you try to chant attentively, but you are unable to do so, and you start committing mistakes while chanting. Is it?
Listen, God is so kind and so merciful. He will not make his own process of love the cause for your downfall and your jeopardy. He will not. Yes, there are warnings for us to become cautious and attentive and try our best. But there's a nice story I can tell you. One time, one of my Guru Devas, my Shiksha Guru, he was in charge of organizing a festival. And in that festival there was included a deity installation. That's called Pran Pratishta in India. It's a very holy, very, very special ceremony. So my Guru Dev, he went in there into the altar room in Assam. And he saw that the deity was very high, and to go there and to put the sandalwood pulp and everything which the scriptures say you do in that part, he saw it was high, so it was actually his guru's job to do that. But he did it in thinking, oh, I'll do this service for my guru here so that he don't have to bother that. So when his guru then came into the room and to do the ceremony and everything went after the guru left the deity room, he sat down, gave a class. And he said in the class, I was trying to install the deity here, but when I went there, he was already installed. My Shiksha Guru was dumbfolded. Oh, what offense I did. Then in another lecture, Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta again said, in our temple in Assam, the deity was installed by itself. When I went there, it was already installed. Then my Shiksha Guru was totally devastated, and he went to him and he says, Gurudeva, you said this in your class. I feel so sorry. I did that. I did these ceremonies in before you came in. I thought you just come in and speak the mantra and that's it, so you don't have to be inconvenienced. Then the answer he was given. If somebody is surrendered, he can never commit offense. What you do with your good intention for God can never be the cause of mistake, downfall, or anything like this. So I think don't worry about that. Just chant as nice as you can. Keep chanting. There's another offense which says, stop chanting. That's also an offense. So, but these offenses and all this is just a holy subjects are meant. I mean, it's just like you. I like to stand close to you. I even like to hug you. But I don't like you to stand on my toe. So, I mean, needless to say, but if you stand on my toe, I will say something. So the Lord says, do this, do that, and the devotee says, but just don't stand on his toes. If you worship, like you worship the Lord in the deity form, this is such a sweet thing, no? But then there's 64 recommendations how to do it nicely and what not to do, no? Like, the scriptures say such things, such simple things, but like not to yell in front of the deity. You're not supposed to yell and scream at anybody in front of the deity. It's an apparat. So if you have a deity at home in your family, you can never yell at your family anymore. So great. That's what it's meant for. To have more love at home. It's all for our blessing. Nothing else. You have a question? Can you speak a little louder?
Yeah, sorry. It was just a curiosity question, and maybe it's personal, but I wonder if you still regret things. If you do anything that you regret.
Myself?
Yes.
Yes. I also regret things. For sure. I regret not to be attentive enough, just like he said. I regret not to be surrendered enough. I regret not to have been always focused on my guru in my endeavors. I regret that I don't give enough attention to everybody as I wish to. I regret that I am not good in memorizing certain things. I would say so many things. If I want to give you a list of what things I regret, it's a long list, but I also happy that I can allow to continue in my service. But I never regret that I met anybody. Whoever I met, there was something for me to learn. Hmm?
Talking about aparat, Maharaj, one of the aparats they say is you should not be referring to other gods like Shiva and Durga in the same plane as of Krishna. And coming from India, I find that very strange. Any reflections you have on that?
Yes, absolutely. Brahma bole chaturmukhe, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Mahadeva Panchamukhe, Rama Rama Hare Hare. We have so much information about the divine trinity of the Vedas, and they are always giving us so much valuable advice, but in no moment have we found the instruction that we should create our own criteria. What's right, what's wrong, and how to do it. We should follow our Guru. And our Guru is telling us, just like you say, like Bhrigu Muni. Have you heard about the story of Bhrigu Muni? There was this investigation. Who is the highest, Brahma, Shiva, or Vishnu? And Bhrigu Muni came to the very clear conclusion that nobody reacts like Vishnu. He's very, very topmost in all this. And you see, if I say all is Brahman, I may say, well, what's the big deal? I can worship him, I can worship him. But this is not the conclusion, the last conclusion of the scriptures. Scriptures give us the conclusion that Goloka Vrindavan is a unique and highest sphere of all the spheres existing. And in that Goloka Vrindavan realm, you're welcome. If you want to join the Maharaj of the Supreme Lord, he's inviting you. If you have any ambition for that, you are allowed, you're not excluded. Like Brahma Samhita explains. So, but at the same time, Gopeshwar Mahadev is also there. In other words, he's also on the highest level. We pray to Gopeshwar to go into the rasa dance, but we're not praying to him as being higher than Radha and Krishna. And those who go Panchopasana, they say it doesn't matter who you pray to, they can all give you the same anyway. There's nothing higher. They are ignoring what the Vedas say about these realms. Even Lord Brahma, he was pretty confused. Krishna comes as a baby into my area of creation, and I am not informed? How it can be? Somebody told him, say, do you know that the Lord who came into your world, he's a top avatar there? He's the avatari. Brahma said, no, nobody told me. I don't believe it. He would have told me because I should have been part of the Leela. I mean, I should be there, you know. Can you imagine the president of Russia coming to Stockholm and the president of Sweden doesn't know about it? It will be quite an upsetting situation, no? So we could not receive. I'm giving just an example, no? So like this, Brahma was pretty upset. And he went right away to Vrindavan to check it out. You know that story? How he stole the cowherd boys and the calves? How he stole them to check out who is that? How is that Leela going on without my authorization? And then he kidnapped the calves, and then what happened next? Well, Krishna showed his divine power in his maximum Tatikatma Rupa expansions everywhere, and he substituted all these cows and calves in his own avatar form. When Brahma came back 1 minute, which was 1 year according to time counting in the earth, he could see they're all still there. I kidnapped them. Then he went to the cave where he put them in slumber, and he saw them there again, and he looked there again, and looked there again. Oh, now I understand. I messed up. I big messed up. And then he went to Lord Krishna, fell on his feet and says, Krishna, please, forgive me. I couldn't believe it that you would come to my world without having me informed. That you are so trickily doing this childhood pastimes here. Because as soon as the opulence is there of the Aishwarya, and all the Leela, all the sweetness is gone, you know. So Krishna didn't want to be received with too much fanfare and all thing, no. He just went there and captured the heart of the Brijbasis, and that's the real lila. So if somebody says, why not worship Ganesh instead? He just don't get it, you know. You worship Ganesh to overcome obstacles in every business in all over India. You see Lakshmi and Ganesh, and many don't even have Krishna or Rama there. They're just thinking karma kanda, Veda, Hindu business connection. And then they say things, it doesn't matter, Shiva, Durga, Ganesh, it's the same thing as worshipping Krishna. And then we have this one philosopher, Yatapatatrapat. Have you heard that? No? That was one of the exported avatars. He said, whatever you worship, you do it, all leads to the same thing anyway. So why bother? Yatrapatatrapat. Well, all leads to the same end finally, no? And Prabhupada said, well, sorry sir, you just can't take a train from Delhi to Mumbai and end up in Calcutta. It's not exactly that way. Okay, are you okay with that answer? Then what's next question? Any other question? No more questions, and let's chant. Let us chant. Can't throw that far. All right, let's have an all musical session here. Please, Siddhanta, grab your guitar. That's for Sevananda. Wow. Are we in tune, or do you want to tune it? But am I in tune? Okay, if your ears say so, then we believe it. Govindam Atipurusham Amaham Bhajami. Govindam Adipurusham Ham Bhajami. Chintamani prakara satmasu kalpavriksha lakshaviteshu surabhir abhipalayantam Lakshmi sahasra satta sambrahma sevyamanam Govindam Adipurusham Govindam Vinum Vanvantamaravinda Dalayadaksham Tamasitam Buddhasundarangam koti kamaniya ishesha sobam govindam adipurusham tama. Sakalem diyavriti manti pashyanti panti yanti chiram janganti anandaksin maya sadhu valavigrasya Adipurusham Brahma Govindam Adipurusham Brahma Bhajami Govindam Primam jana churita bhakti vilochanena shanta sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti yang shamba sundaram achinta guna svarupam Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Krishna, Hare, 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 Rama, Hare, Rama, 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 Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Patita Pavan, Jaya Prabhupada, Patita Pavan. Jaya Prabhupada, Patita Pavan, Jaya Prabhupada, Patita Pavan. Jaya Prabhupada, Patita Pavan, Jaya Prabhupada, Patita Pavan. Jai Gopinath, Jaya Prabhupada, Patita Pavan. Wow, it's 9:30. What a day of a week are we today?
Wednesday.
So tomorrow you have to work?